Hey, welcome everybody to the inaugural episode of Pacific Yachting. It's anchors away today as we set sail and learn about the world I know nothing about, but the guys here sure do. Our host, Joe Bergman, many years boating editor. He's going to bring along his guests and friends, and they're going to talk about business and adventures, and maybe it was like own a yacht here. Is that what we're going to talk about today, Joe?
That's a very nice yacht in Newport Harbor, and happy to be here. And my guest today is Greg Keeler, and he has had that boat. How long have you had that boat, Greg?
I bought that boat in 2012, November of 12.
2012.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in the harbor, Newport Harbor? Most of the time?
No, my parents bought a house in the back bay in the Coves,
Oh, okay.
Newport Coves in 1990.
Yeah.
They had a dock, small dock. My dad didn't boat. So I asked him if I could get a boat, and I got a small 17-foot whaler center console, put it on the dock. He said I could keep it there as long as I wanted, as if he could use it. So
I thought you were going to say your dad was a kayaker or something.
No. So that's what got me started, because I didn't have to put it on a trailer and dump it in the dunes.
Right. Oh.
And plus, I found a little boat that didn't have a trailer, so I got it cheap.
Uh-huh.
And had an old 150 Evinrude two-stroke on it, and ran it like crazy. So it was
Cool.
Beautiful. That's what got me started there.
And the harbor is quite big as far as harbors go up and down the coast here, except it's not as big as San Francisco Bay, but
No.
it's
Well, theoretically it's known as the largest small boat harbor
yeah,
in the
that
United
would make
States.
sense. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
No commercial boats.
Mhm. But there's all kinds of other marinas, harbors and marinas up and down the coast from Mexico up to the Canadian border, and including both. And you have made trips to there and everything. But let's begin with the boat. You've mentioned that was your first boat, you said, or
My first one was the 17-foot Mako.
uh-huh.
Then in 1996, I bought the 26-foot Shamrock
Okay.
that I could also keep on that dock there. That was about as big as I could put there. 2000, I repowered it with a Yanmar, put the diesel, turned it into like a completely different boat. I still have it. I bought the house there in the Coves from my parents.
Uh-huh.
So I do that. And then in about 2011, 2012, my brother and I have a aerospace business together, and we started to sell the aerospace business to our employees. And so we did a thing called an ESOP, an employee stock ownership program sale, and we sold a third of the company. So I got some cash, got some stuff, and then I started thinking about buying a bigger boat, thinking about what I was going to do next stage of my life.
Yeah. Now you're still operating the
company.
facility,
Yeah.
and that's in Santa
Santa
Ana.
Ana,
Yeah,
Santa Ana,
right. Yeah.
right.
And it's
And somebody
Quite-
wanted to tweet in and say, so how big is the boat you got now?
Oh, the boat got now registered. It's documented as 75 by 20. It's a
Now-
little bigger actually with the swim step and the bow. It's about 80, but that's about. I figure 80 when I'm going to try to park it somewhere.
And how big can they go in the Newport Harbor? We were talking about this before.
Oh, there's some boats that are docked in the harbor. They're up to probably 130, 140
Wow.
that have docks. A lot of the boats that you're talking about, the big one, Caruso's boat, he just goes out and anchors in the anchor.
what's his 2-something or 300?
250.
Yeah,
Talking about
280.
Rick Caruso, who
Yeah.
ran for mayor up in
Los Angeles.
Los
yeah.
Angeles, has a home down here in Newport. Yeah,
Does
he has a second home. Yeah,
Oh.
that's what he told us when he came in.
he? Oh, maybe he
yeah.
does.
He's got he comes down on the weekends or something here. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
So, okay, that was the boat you have now began back when. How much looking did you do?
I did quite a bit of looking. I was actually, my initial plan was to get a boat on the West Coast. I was thinking something more about 60 feet. I was going to put it on a container ship, and I was going to send it over to Phuket, over to Thailand, because I have a place in Thailand, in northern Thailand, and I figured I could keep it in Phuket. And that's what I was looking at. And I was looking at quite a few boats. I was looking at some old Jones Goodell's and some stuff up in Washington and Vancouver.
Yeah.
And then,
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Because you said you have to container it over there.
You lift the boat on top of a container ship, and then
okay.
that ship will take it over there, so you don't take it on its own.
Because I always
dock.
thought there were people who would crew these things and take them across the ocean at that size, or is that too small to cross?
That would be what, 5,000 miles?
Yeah, you wouldn't. There's no fuel out there. No, you wouldn't even think about it.
Okay.
And so you found this. Where did you find the
Yeah.
boat?
Okay. So what happened is, there's in Newport Beach down there. There's a little famous, been there forever, Irish bar called the Shamrock.
Mm-hmm.
And right next door to the Shamrock, in fact, back then upstairs of the Shamrock was a company called National Liquidators, and they were a nationwide boat repo company.
How long have they been there? I didn't realize they were there back then.
Oh yeah, I bet they've been there 25 years.
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing. There's
Probably
a
more than, yeah.
guy that runs it there named Tice Sailor, and so all the guys that were boat captains would come into the Shamrock for a beer.
Yeah.
So I knew most of the guys that repoed
Sure.
boats. So I was looking for a boat, and 3 of the boat captains got sent down to Cabo to repo the boat that I ended up buying with my brother. And it was owned by a gentleman out of Oxnard who built it. He was going to go around the United States on it with his kids and homeschool the kids on the boat with his wife and his 2 kids and a nanny. And then right before the boat got finished, she said, I don't think I want to do that. So he finished the boat anyway, and he took it to Cabo to fish, and then she said, I want a divorce. So he had
Was it
Too
because
many
of the boat?
fish.
so he sold it to an older gentleman in Cabo that owned something to do with the pharmaceutical industry. I'm not
Okay.
sure. And he had a son who wanted to charter boats in Cabo. So the father bought it, financed it through a bank, told his kid, you can start this charter business.
Was he from up here in the United
Yeah,
States?
somewhere
or-
in the United States, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I never met him, but
Uh-huh.
so the kid started doing it. He had 3 boats. Kid started doing bad stuff down there in Cabo and getting in trouble and ran the business into the ground. And the father said, I'm not going to pay for this boat if you're not going to charter it and pay for it. So,
Yeah.
so it got repoed, and they brought it up, and then it was in Newport, and then it went through some sort of because of problems in Cabo, went through a marshal sale. So the government owned it, and it was in a slip in Bayshores for, I'm guessing, 18 months before the bank. Then the bank ended up buying it back from the marshal sale,
Oh, really?
and then the people at National Liquidators told us that the bank had it on their books as an asset, but they can't keep those kind of repoed assets on their books forever, so they had to liquidate it. So they hired National again to liquidate it. So I was in Mexico doing something else, fishing, doing something. My brother called me, and my brother is not a big boater, but he called me up and he said, the guys, National Liquidators, want you, me, meaning Greg, to go out on a sea trial. And I said, a sea trial? What kind of boat? That big boat, that Nordland. It's a Nordland built in Tacoma. I said, there's no point in going out on that boat. It's too big and it's too expensive. And
So
plus,
this is a second boat, or
this is the boat I ended
the
up
boat.
buying, the boat.
okay?
It was called Kahuna at the time.
Yeah, okay.
So I told my brother, I said, don't go out on a sea trial, because if you go on a sea trial, theoretically you have to sign some papers telling them that you're interested in buying it. I
Right.
said, we don't have any interest in buying it. And I said, I don't, you don't, because my brother doesn't boat much then. And then the guy, Tice, said, no, I have to take the boat out for a sea trial to video the smoke, video the exhaust, to give it a general appraisal for the bank to sell it. So I said, okay, we'll go. If that's what it's going to be, we'll go out. So
You could get away with that as just a ride along, or
just to ride along.
yeah.
Yeah. So I rode along. My brother rode along. I knew the guys all 3 of the guys that brought the boat up. They had been bugging my brother, telling him, if Greg's going to buy a boat, tell him this is the boat he ought to buy. 'Cause
Of
'cause-
course, they wanted
well,
to sell the boat.
No, they've repoed boats all their lives, and
I
they
know,
said it
yeah.
was the nicest boat
Well, that's
built
good.
in
then.
built in
Yeah.
America, solid, Caterpillar engines, 4 strokes. Said that's what you want. So we went out and did a sea trial, came back in. It was absolutely fantastic. Boat had a lot of issues. It had been sitting around for 2 or 3 years.
Okay, when you say fantastic, what was your first
It was
love
just,
of that thing?
yeah.
From
it was the just the way it tracked in the water.
Okay.
It was so heavy, and it had a huge bow, huge under the water bow, cut through the water well. Didn't have the stabilizers working, but it tracked well. It had maybe a 3-4 foot chop, wind chop. Didn't hardly feel it. Controls worked great. Everything was very nice.
What size was the engines?
They are called 3412C Caterpillars.
Okay.
1,350 horsepower each. So they're big.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Probably heavy too.
And what's
very heavy.
Somebody else wants to know, what's the range of a boat like that?
well, the old expression is, depends on how fast you go.
Okay.
So the faster you go. But I'm saying if you really wanted to stretch it and you wanted to keep about 15% fuel in reserve,
Right.
I'd guess you could I'd say I could do 1,000 nautical miles. I could go from San Diego, fill up in San Diego, I could get to Cabo
Okay.
at about 12 knots.
And how long does it take to get to Hawaii? That seems further.
Well, you can't get fuel. I wouldn't even.
Oh, I don't even know how
So-
long these distances are. Yeah,
Well,
right.
2,500 miles
Oh, okay.
at 12 knots.
Yeah, no, okay.
Days, a week. I don't know. Yeah, a long time. So it'd take probably 4 days to get to Cabo.
Yeah.
250 miles a day, 1,000 miles. So something to that effect.
Yeah. Okay. So back to your purchase of the boat. Did you have a survey done even after you? Yes.
That's a good question. I did not right after I bought it, because the bank had a survey done right before they sold it. So I got that survey. So I was able to look at that survey to see everything that they said was wrong with it before I bought it.
Right. And so you had a survey
I had a
available
survey.
to you.
I didn't do it myself.
And you did trust the bank that they knew what they were doing with
Yeah,
the
the guy was a local guy.
Okay. Okay, good.
He's a very well-known Lee Frayne. He's a very good surveyor in Newport Beach, and he did a complete and total survey for the bank. And
Wow.
so anyway, when I got back from the sea trial, docked the boat. The guys that took the boat let me drive it out. I stuck it back in the hole easy. I was impressed with that. I'd never driven a boat that big. My brother asked me, "How'd you like the boat?" I said, "Gee, what's not to like? But it's too big and it's too expensive." And my brother said, "Well, if you like it that much, how about if I go in half with you?" I said, "Well, geez, now the boat's half the size and half as expensive." So we thought about it over the weekend and figured out a way and decided to work with the national liquidators to try to get it at a good price, because we knew what was wrong with it. We
Sure.
knew we were going to have to
Sure.
put a lot of money in it. Part of the deal right off the bat was I had to arrange with them to guarantee that I got the slip, to keep the slip in Bayshores, because you cannot just walk around town and find a slip for a 75-foot boat.
Yeah.
So that was first things first.
Yeah.
Then negotiated a deal with the bank. Did that. Then there was only one boat yard in the harbor. Newport Shipyard was the only one that could lift it. It was 65 empty, weight 65 tons empty. So they lifted it, and
Now, when you say empty weight,
empty, no fuel, no water,
Okay.
no empty.
Yeah.
Fully laden, it's able to carry 85 tons.
Okay. Okay.
So 20 tons of fuel.
How much fuel does it?
2,750 gallons.
Okay.
So that's a lot of. It hits your checkbook when you fill that baby up.
Well, look, and I'm sorry to ask such naive questions,
That's
but do you just go up to there must be like a pump in the marina?
There are pumps.
3 of them? Yeah.
Yes, but luckily
3 or 2? I think
there
there's
used
3.
to be 3, but
Yeah,
I think there's only
just
2
2
now.
now,
They
yeah,
shut the Shell station down.
Right. Yeah.
But there's a Chevron station over there called Hills Marine, and Gary Hill, the owner, built a boat to deliver fuel. So he can deliver 3,000 gallons. So if I buy enough fuel, I get it free delivery. So he drives his boat. He drives his boat
Comes to you,
our
yeah.
boat.
Yeah.
He pumps it in.
And that's not that common, depending on the size of the harbor and things like that. But to have a boat to deliver fuel to you, is it?
Not that, no, because most people can just drive their boat over to the fuel dock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a lot of time and money, obviously,
Oh,
but
yeah.
a lot of time to get it there and filled and back and
Yeah,
everything.
and plus it's very
So-
tight quarters over there to get
Yeah,
that boat
yeah.
in and out. And
And then with
How long does it take to pump the gas in? It's got
Well,
to take quite a while.
I don't know. To be honest with you,
Not
I've
5
never-
minutes when I fill
no.
my
It
car.
probably takes them 30 minutes.
Yeah.
at least,
guessing.
at least, yeah,
I've never,
for that size.
I never buy a full. I usually buy it at 1,000 gallons at a time.
Unless
'Cause
you're
there's no
going
reason-
fishing.
Well, yeah, but there's no reason to carry,
Yeah.
push all that fuel around.
Right.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So that's what we did. So then let's see what else I could say.
Well,
next.
back when
Back-
you at the just after the purchase or during the purchase, whatever, you mentioned that there were things that were wrong with it.
Correct.
Kind of go over those briefly so people will know when they're looking at a boat, wanting to buy a boat, things that they have to take and get a surveyor or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I knew what I was up against,
Mm-hmm.
but knowing what we were up against, we negotiated a very, very, very good price
Mm-hmm.
with the bank.
Mm-hmm.
They were under the gun. We made them a deal. We said we lowballed them. I worked with the national liquidators. They were working with us. They were working with the bank. Lowballed it, and I knew I was probably going to have to put about 50% of the sales price back into the boat at the boatyard.
Wow.
I had to do, it had 2 outboard frozen turbos, both generators needed repair, stabilizers needed all rebuilding, but they could handle it at Newport Shipyard. I knew pretty much, got an idea what the price was going to be, so my brother and I had that budgeted, if you will.
Sure.
Plus, when I took it to the shipyard, I told them that I wasn't in any hurry to do it, so they worked on the boat at their leisure. Well, no, meaning
I know what you
I didn't
mean,
have
yeah.
to pay lay days.
Yeah. Okay.
If they weren't working on it and they had to
Explain that because a lot of people
a
listen.
lay day means if you're going to be in a boatyard, they might charge on a boat my size, boat our size, they might charge you $300 a day
Mm-hmm.
just to keep it there. And if they, if they're working on it,
Sure.
and if you get to a point where they can't work on it, or you didn't buy parts or something, they still charge you.
You're still that's
You're-
the lay days you're
That's
paying
called
for in the
lay
meantime.
days,
Yeah.
layover days, just
Uh-huh.
lay off, nothing happening.
Yeah.
But they never charged us any lay days. They just charged us to do the work on the boat.
Now, back to the purchase again, if you will, with a bank. It's not uncommon, at least things I've observed anyway, that that's a pretty decent way to find a boat, but depending on the quality of the boat and things like that, because banks, they want to get rid of it.
Yeah, they don't have a clue.
Yeah.
No, the other thing I say that I did is the guys that repoed the boat knew the boat. They
Right.
suggested, the great thing about it was that it was built. I would also, anybody who's going to buy a boat that big, do your homework on the builder. If you can, they cost a lot more, but if you can, try to buy a boat built in America, built in Washington, or somewhere like that.
I was going to say, where do they even build boats that
Up-
size
up-
up in Washington?
Yeah, like Caruso's boats built
Yeah.
in Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, they still build them. And my boat, the boatyard, our boatyard is called Nordland, and it was a family-owned boatyard, and the family just retired, sold it, and they've stopped making custom boats, but they still do a lot of work on boats. But the quality of the hardware is fantastic. Quality of the stainless is fantastic. The welding is fantastic. The joinery, the woodworking is fantastic.
Keep going. Let's kind of bring all those other things in there. But how about the navigational gear and things of that nature too?
I replaced all that. It had old North Star
Okay.
stuff. I replaced it all with touch screen, large 18-inch Garmin's. Put 4 new ones in. Same. I have the original radars. Furuno radar is still good. So I had to do all that stuff. And I would tell whoever's going to do it, if you're going to buy a boat like that, if the boat's over 10 years old, all your electronics have gone south. Like having a 10-year-old iPhone or something. You know, the world's gone by you. So you've got to be ready to do that, I would say.
How do you know about the guts of the boat, though? How do you know if
Well, the survey tells you that.
that they tell you that?
Yeah,
Okay,
the surveyor goes through
the
he look-
electrical and the plumbing. And
He
all that
looks
kind
at
of
all
stuff,
that. He looks for leaks. He looks at the hull. He looks at, all the, like you say, all the plumbing, all the electrical. They're very, very, if you get a good surveyor, they're worth their weight in gold.
Not bad.
I would tell,
And they're almost required. I
Yeah,
mean,
well-
not required necessarily.
if you're going to
but
buy a boat, you should
if
require
you-
it for
you're-
your own brain.
We're requiring them, aren't we?
Yeah. I
Anybody
wouldn't-
wants to buy a boat, I don't care how big the boat is.
No,
Have a
anything.
survey done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything.
Because you don't want little holes
And-
in there that you aren't going to notice until
No,
you're
no,
out in the middle of
no.
the ocean somewhere.
And the other thing I'd say is if you're a buyer, hire your own surveyor.
Mhm.
Because a broker will say, oh, I've got a surveyor.
Yeah, right.
I'll have him come down. It's like,
My cousin Vinny, yeah. Right.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it's like. And I've known some guys that have gotten really, really hurt badly
Sure.
by trusting a broker's.
It's not uncommon for people to get hurt because they don't want to, oh, I want that boat. Okay, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah,
Boom.
they-
You can't do it that easily.
yeah, they get flowers in their eyes and rose-colored glasses, and they don't see what they're going to be up against.
Is there anything you wish you'd known that you didn't know then, or anything if you did it again, you'd do different? If you bought another boat that size or whatever?
No, I gotta say, I think because I got such a good deal on the boat with the bank, I'd say that it was worth putting the money into. You're constantly doing maintenance. Like there's an old saying that if you spend, let's say you just throw out a big number, throw out $1 million, you're going to spend $100,000 a year on maintenance.
Wow.
10% of the boat on maintenance. If you buy an older boat, like ours was 12 years old, ours was a 2000, we bought it in 12, I'd say we're probably spending 15 to 20% of our original price, but it was really cheap.
Right.
So, and then the other thing I would say, my experience has been, if you have an insurance company, they're very likely, if you start getting into a bigger boat, they're going to require that either you as the owner have a 100-ton Coast Guard license, or you have a captain that is always, like in our boat, I don't have a 100-ton.
Do you have a license?
I have the regular
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
boat license.
Okay,
Yeah, I have that,
yeah.
but I don't have a 100-ton Coast
Right.
Guard license. So our insurance says anytime the boat leaves the dock, we have to have a 100-ton
Okay.
licensed captain on board.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for us, one of the guys at National Liquidators is an older guy. He keeps up his license, and he comes out with us.
Okay.
But if you don't have that and you get in a wreck or you hit something or something happens and your insurance will require it, you're going to play, it's going to
Could be in trouble.
you'll
Yeah.
be in big trouble.
I was going to ask that question again. Maybe this is so obvious, but I don't know. Most people at that size of boat drive it themselves, or always have a captain. You're saying it sounds like they have to because of
Well, you
insurance
have to have a
requirements.
captain for insurance. Now, I'm an oddball. I've never seen my captain drive our boat. I'm the only one that drives it if I'm on it, but that's unusual. Even when I go to the boatyard guys look in there, they say, "Who's going to drive the boat?" I said, "I am," and then I get it in. They go, "Wow." We don't even let owners drive their
I was
boats.
going to say,
They
no.
smash them up, and they don't know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
Hit the
exactly,
docks and
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Well, and that's not uncommon. I mean, these are big. Okay,
Yeah,
it would be like you.
Like driving an 18-wheeler.
I was going to say that
Even
very
bigger
same
than
thing.
that, yeah.
We got instead of the Cadillac, you're going to get an 18-wheeler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back
With
it
a 53-foot trailer
Yeah,
on
and
it.
back it into the garage. It's
I
kinda
wouldn't
like
even
that.
know how to. There's so many gears in an 18. How many gears you go through in an 18-wheeler. I wouldn't know how to drive something like that.
Right.
Well, it's a world I don't know anything about.
Yeah. Well, back to the
Yeah,
boat.
go ahead.
The interior. I
Right.
mean, engine, hull, and things of that nature. You've kind of gone through, and the surveyors certainly helped you as far as the purchase and such. But what do you need, or what do you want when you get a large boat like that, as far as your use of the boat as a
Yeah, I get what you mean. The interior of our boat is, I'll call it dated, but still just fine the way we would want it.
Mm-hmm.
We have good curtains on it to keep the light out of it. It's all was nicely done in leather interior.
Yeah.
Carpets could use it, but our boat is more of it's not a foo-foo boat. It's a fishing more. We use it more for fishing and
Right.
just relaxing. We don't care about what the.
But there's food storage
Oh, yeah, we
and
have
things
a
of that
full-
nature that
yeah.
have to be considered for,
Oh, yeah.
especially a voyage like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
take
yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, we have a large refrigerator, large galley, oven, stove, sub-zero refrigerator, ice maker, trash compactor, dishwasher. It's got all that stuff.
Sure.
And
On like the refrigerator and the stove and those two things in particular. I mean, that when you're out on the ocean or in another harbor somewhere,
right.
Those are things that you need to know what you will make use of.
Yeah.
I mean, how you will make use
Yeah,
of it.
we have
Things
good two big Kohler generators, 32 kW generators, and we have rebuilt both those, and they work perfectly.
Mhm.
So we don't have any issues like that.
As we come down to the last 5 minutes, the question I'm burning to ask
Sure.
is, what do you use it for? You've obviously put a lot of effort, a lot of money
Yeah,
into
well-
it. Is it something you just go out and putter on the
We-
harbor, or
we
go
use
out
it-
a little bit in the ocean, or what?
I'd say we use it like most people might say they use a motorhome.
Okay.
My brother and I and our friends are on it almost every day. We take it down to we haven't gone to Mexico yet, because every time someone does in the harbor, they always come back with some horror stories and
I've heard horror stories.
paperwork, and
Right.
they're impounding boats or the fuel's bad. So we
But,
go
but you get into fishing events a lot, don't you?
not on our boat.
No?
I do it a lot in Mexico, but I don't do it on our boat.
Oh.
Although our boat theoretically won Bisbee's once
Uh-huh.
down there.
Wow.
But we go from San Diego, Catalina, San Clemente Island, and then as far north so far to Ventura Harbor.
Okay.
That's where we go.
Is it
And-
just
and-
relaxation, getaway,
Yeah,
or do you
that's it.
seriously go out and fish? and
No,
those
no,
things?
just
no.
relaxation, just enjoy it. We're going out tomorrow, in fact.
What time should we be there for?
Yeah. Yeah, so you have to do that. You got to keep it. We try to get the boat out at least once every couple weeks. Get out in the ocean, get all the temps up, and
What percentage of boats in the harbor, roughly, if anybody knows, sit there
well,
most
that,
of the time? Because every time I go, they all seem to be just sitting around. I don't know.
I would
They
say
are.
They are. I would say if anyone's going to buy a boat, thinking about it, they should go down to the marina and sit and watch and see. I bet 80% don't move.
I bet that's right.
What would you guess, Joe? 75, 70?
I think you're pretty close right there,
Yeah.
because a lot can be very greatly used without leaving
Yeah.
the dock.
Yeah.
So that just
They
is a
could-
getaway, like a little escape place, a
Exactly.
little
Well,
cabin or
It's
something like
yeah,
that.
like a condo.
Yeah,
like
condo,
a
right.
like a condo, vacation condo.
They used
Yeah.
to have years ago. The celebrities had a little bungalow down by the beach you'd
Mhm.
go to or something. This is that
Yep.
kind of thing. You
It's
go
like
down
that.
and live on it. Yeah.
Just be prepared when you buy it to don't go in with your eyes closed thinking it's not going to
Yeah.
cost you.
Okay, one thing quickly before we
Sure.
leave. As far as like going to Catalina or
Mm-hmm.
other nearby, you can't just jump on your boat and take off. You got to prepare to have a place to anchor.
No.
Nothing now.
Well, in what we do is when we go to Catalina,
Mhm.
we just have a policy. We always go on Sundays.
Oh, okay.
Leave the
Because when
dock,
everybody's leaving.
everybody's coming home, and so far we've always gotten a can inside Avalon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, but it seems like since COVID, unless it's a huge weekend, it seems like there's less people than ever over there.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to have to end it there, but
Okay.
I think we need to go on further at some point down the road. So keep that in mind, listeners, and you keep that in mind too, if you
All
would,
right.
Greg.
All right.
And
Did I talk
that's
too
it
much?
for no.
There are a ton of people. We're in UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center. A ton of these kids are making a ton of money here. Okay, I mean, not all kids, but that's what they look at like kids to me. You know, raising 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, all this stuff here. Med tech, medical devices, all these things. And many of them never seen that kind of money before. When they do, they're like, what am I going to do with it? You had a manufacturing business. I guess you still
Yep,
do.
still do. Yep.
Aircraft parts or something. And a lot of those in Santa Ana. I don't think anybody knows what that world looks like. So they're intrigued, they're enticed. Maybe they've gone out, but they have no idea what it takes to buy, to maintain, to service, to
use.
To use, yeah. I didn't have to say that, just to use.
And when
it.
you say use, I personally, I don't think I would have bought the boat if I wasn't going to drive it.
Sure.
I wouldn't buy a boat like that to sit.
Yeah,
And watch
right.
someone else.
Well,
I
but-
like driving.
But like we said, 80% of the boats sit there in
They
the harbor
don't even
here.
go
Don't do
anywhere.
anything.
And other harbors too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Every harbor.
So-
Right.
Well, that's the world I want to hear more about. You can bring
All right.
back other guests here. All right.
Alrighty.
Thanks so much for joining us.
you.
How do they reach and Joe or anybody information if they want to learn more about the work that
No,
you do?
we're going to continue with this program as far as educating our listeners and anyone else that wants to listen.
I'm saying if they want to reach out to you and be a guest on the
Yeah,
show
they can
or
ask
something.
questions we could answer.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Send your questions to the radio station here.
Okay, OC
And,
Talk Radio, we'll pass them on. Just
yeah.
look us up, OC Talk Radio, and we'll pass on to our host here. I think it's fascinating. I've lived in California 30, 40 years. We've all been down to see these giant marinas and the boats, and I always wonder, who owns them? What do they do with them? We're gonna
Just a
find
bunch
out.
of normal guys, really.
Okay.
I think.
All right. Thanks for joining us here
Alrighty.
today.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Wow. Okay, well, we're going to set sail and we're going to take some wild adventures here. Today, we're just going through the basics. We're going to get deeper into the stories as we come back more and explore the world of Pacific Yachting with our host, Joe Bergman, and his friends, right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio.